Greetings, greetings, greetings. This is Omica Iamah, coming to you today, June 3rd, 2020, with a collective consciousness healing talk. It is my purpose here to remind you of your power. I am alive at this time so that I can help you to tune into who you are and really begin the journey of what it is to be human on the planet Earth. We have so many distractions and so many constructs that elude us from really who we are. And I just want to make this really simple today and state that we have an identification crisis. In an effort to remember things, we identify them. And so in that identification crisis, we have forgotten that we are number one, human first, and are under a divine law of oneness, divine oneness. In that divine oneness, this is how our thoughts and emotions, our power, our will, all of the functionality of being human is a collective experience. In other words, we are having a collective human experience that is dialed into our human evolution. Now, crisis, chaos, and confusion, misunderstandings, challenges within that human experience has been how we have evolved. Now, how do we get to this point? How do we get so far away from who we are? I will first state some science here. We are only aware of about 1 to 5% of reality. The physical reality is, again, let me really bring this home. The physical reality that we can pick up of actual universal reality, the physicality of it that we can see with our eyes, we are only dialed into 1 to 5% of that. That means 95% of this world is unseen by you, unfelt, and is a mystery. You have no idea where you are and what time it is and what you're supposed to be doing. Because we have rooted ourselves into our physical sight and have left the inner sight and the inner knowing that we are naturally created from. We were birthed with tools, faculties, and functionalities to move in this earth in a very healthy manner. But to get there, of course, we've needed to have these challenges so that we can understand our power. So if you're only perceiving 5% of a thing, do you know what it really is? Do you know how to really operate in that thing? Do you even understand who you are in a thing where you only get 5% of the information of it? I'm going to say this. If the veil was lifted today, we would all die. We would kill ourselves because we are not ready. We're not consciously ready to experience this full reality. And this is what we're preparing for. Do you want to see the other 95% of the universe? Do you want to be able to operate in that experience? It's not a physical thing. Now, I will give you an example. I am able to collectively dial into the consciousness of the planet and understand how everyone is feeling. I have an ability to see what isn't said, to hear what isn't heard, to know what's happening in that 95%. If you're talking to me and you're telling me your story, I'm going to be honest with you. It's not very much you can hide from me. My intuition will pick up on what you're not saying. You can disguise it. You can put it in pretty words. You can leave shit out. It's not going to work because the energy is there. Now, if we are also, let's talk about energy, coming into energy. If it's 95%, if 5% is the physical world, that will tell you that 95% of it is energy, is an energetic space. It's almost like your mind. You use your mind, but do you see it? Can you put your hands on it? Can you touch it? But you use it every day. So this is the same way of moving through the earth. We are too locked into the 5% physical world. We are too locked into the physical world. You are leaving 95% of who you are on the table. Now, what's happening now is the physical world is literally shattering apart because you've put so much of your power and energy and safety and all of your being into what's happening physical. And guess what? That's the last manifestation. The thoughts, the emotions, everything has already been done now. It's over. We're working backwards. How the fuck you gonna start from the physical with the 5% and leave 95% unaccounted for, unattended? Nobody wants to get in this fucking darkness, yo. What the fuck is that about? How you moving around on this earth and you don't want to deal with 95% of the way this universal design? Now, healers, teachers, ascended masters, all these people have come to the planet to tell humans, hey, there's an inner working heaven going on here. Hey, go inside. Hey, get your inner shit together. Hey, are you aware of every thought and emotion that you are charging that thought up with? Are you aware? Are you aware? But you want to be aware about what the fuck Beyonce is doing. You want to be aware about what Trump is doing. You want to be aware of the 5% while you leave 95% of the universal reality unattended. And then you come into this space and you wonder why the fuck we're in here. You wonder why we fucked up. You wonder why somebody beating your ass. You wonder why a motherfucker's taking children from you. You wonder why you ain't got no man. You wonder why your career is not fun. And even for these motherfuckers that got money, let me tell you something. Money is man's money. It's a very much a difference between abundance, universal abundance, and man's money. You guys are serving two gods. It's time to make a fucking choice. Where is your orientation? Do you remember? I'm here. Do you remember? I'm waiting. Are you going to come into this 95% of reality? Close your fucking eyes and do your work. You are just as much as the reason that we are here as the motherfuckers that are sitting in the White House, sitting over in UN, whatever, making these decisions. And we want to blame and shame and think someone externally is doing something to us. No, that's a childish way. You want to deflect your responsibility. But guess what? You had a thought about being controlled. You had a thought that said that I can't do this. I need to be dependent on a system. You had a thought that says that I don't even know how to collect my own fucking food. So somebody has to do that for me too. You have a system in you that says, I don't know how I create my reality. Women, you in this motherfucker, you don't even know how your children get here. You fucking and popping up pregnant. How did that happen? How did the fuck did we get here? You know why? Because you want to deal with the 5%. You want to be so attached to this reality, the physical world. And guess what? If you are so attached to the physical world, your whole fucking life is about to be shaken up. Physical things come and go. Energy precedes matter. Are you an energy worker? Do you work your energy? Do you manipulate your own thoughts? Now, we want to rally. We want to riot. Have you caused a riot within your internal self? Have you burned down some old thoughts? Huh? Have you stood up against that evil ass motherfucker in you? Huh? Now, before you go stand out in the street, I'm going to need you to look in the mirror. Identification crisis. We need to remember and know your fucking orientation. Where is your energy on the map? Can you chart your frequency? And no matter what environment are you in, do you bring the frequency or do you subject yourself to the energy that is in the environment? Do you bring change to environments? Do you uplift an environment when you step into it because you are very much aware of your energy? Or do you step into an environment as a victim and you become a casualty of what may be happening in that environment? I'm taking you away. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. That's not the real world, babies. You working backwards. You working backwards. Women, we rule the internal world. We govern the internal world, the feminine energy. You have chose to come here embodied as a feminine energetic being. Now, we all house feminine and masculine energy. That is well known. But we are in a more, you're representing, you're representative. You're an expression of the feminine. Now, I'm going to tell you why we don't deal with 95% of the world is because the feminine energy, which governs the eternal world, is no longer valued or respected. I'm going to give you one little symbol. Floyd, on his way out, called to mama. Now, we want to bring this down to earth. On an earth plane, he was calling to his physical mother. If you bring that down up into higher self, that was a call out to the feminine to come and do your work. Women, I'm going to tell you, you're so powerful. A lot of this is our doing. Your erratic emotions, speaking words and energizing them and not knowing what you are saying and how it will impact people. Your basic orientation, your identification crisis and not knowing who you are as a woman. Not knowing feminine leadership. Not knowing how to do the divine original dance with the masculine, a man. Now, there's a law of gender. Everything contains masculine and feminine energy. Where is your orientation? We have the law of polarity. You have two poles. Are you working from a law of fear? From a polarity of fear? Or are you operating in love? Where's your orientation? If you are a feminine embodied person, do you know your role at this time? Do you know it is your intricate role to assist in restoring the value and the quality and the principles of the feminine? This ain't about no goddamn self-love journey, ladies. This is work. This is ancestral mother work. Your remembrance is important. Each individual remembering that you are number one human under the divine law of oneness. You cannot step out of the network. You can try if you want to. Now, you can choose a dimension you want to operate in, a paradigm you want to be in. You enter those paradigms by your thoughts. You enter those paradigms by what you subscribe to and what you believe in. So, watch the world if you may, but I would hope that as you watch the world fall apart, that you allow your inner world to fall apart. I hope as you watch the burning down of old ideals and the challenging of emotional terrorism that has been placed upon humans. I hope as you see the external expression of that that you are taking the internal journey to take the responsibility for your own participation, whether you are believing that you are subject to that or whether you actually do that. Think that thing and express that emotion. It's time to clean up internally. It's time to burn some stuff down internally. Righteous thoughts. Being concerned, getting out of personal agendas. If your goals are centered around your own personal agenda and your goals does not include how you will service the whole of humanity, you are failing. That is not where we are going. You must have a service mind. Abundance is from service. You must open your heart and have some compassion and empathy with all the human experiences that have now piled up and it's now being diarrhea. We got diarrhea and we're vomiting. We're nauseous and we're sick. So as we begin this healing journey collectively, it is your internal responsibility to burn down the things inside of you that no longer serve you and the whole. It is time to regulate and become the authority and the master of your emotions. You understand exactly what you charge, what thoughts are to be charged with those emotions. It's about mastership at this time. Now, we as a collective of humans are moving through space and time. And the next space and time is the integration of the masculine and the feminine. Now, the men have done it. The women started that shit off. When have we been together? We think we gotta be either or. No. We are now coming into where the masculine and the feminine is returning to dancing together divinely. If you mad at a woman, women, if you mad at men, you mad at your fucking self. Get it together. So we've had the matriarch and we've had the patriarch. Now we are coming into a more egalitarian type society where men and women have a high value for each other. And then from that space, families, communities, and a universal society can be created from balance, from equilibrium. I'm not a unity person. I love opposites. I love how we can just do diversity. We do diversity very well. But there can be unity in diversity, which is equilibrium, a balance and a working of opposites. But it requires that we have some value, some worth around these energies. One cannot operate without the other. We must understand that we are in a collective experience. So what you put out, you think you can hide. You think because nobody didn't hear you think that you can hide from it? Women, you with these men and y'all around here in your mind causing that man all kind of harm. You talk shit in your mind, smile in his face, and he dying. He got high blood pressure. He got all kind of shit. You ain't gave him no tea. You ain't fixing him no good food or no shit like that. Now, you talking about him. And asking him for more and more and more and more. Talking about you love him. But is every thought loving? Now, it doesn't have to be. But do you have the mastership to balance when you are angry and when you are upset with him? Can you come back to love and peace? And whatever war you created while you were angry, it gets smoothed out. You bring the solution to the problem within yourself. Ain't no man here to rescue you from your emotional terrorism. And you damn sure need to stop terrorizing him. Get to work. Do the internal work. This is the problem. Womb cry. Womb cry. Men, keep fucking with us if you want to, baby. Keep coming for the feminine if you want to, honey. You're killing yourself. As you can see, we some very quiet, masterful motherfuckers. And I kill you in 20 years and won't give a damn about it. Slow. Speak death over you reals in millimeters, in seconds. And let that energy pile up. Quit fucking with us. You either use us properly, find our value within yourself as you connect with the feminine, and you begin to work with us. If I got to be in your possession, if I got to be up under your rule, you got a problem. You trying to possess a pussy for your own life because you don't have any sense of death is too much in your brain. And then y'all just went as far as to wire yourself to be killers. That you would kill for your will. You better get in that internal mind and fix why the fuck you running around here terrorizing, warring, and all this other shit. And man, and just because you ain't in it, baby, don't think you ain't got the work to do. Just because you think you ain't Trump, just because you think you posting revolution memes and stuff, if you ain't doing the internal work to connect with your feminine, you in it too. You a participant too. You helping this shit stay alive too. Get in there and do the work. Y'all running and you're scared of your damn self. You running from yourself around here asking somebody to fix you. Ain't nobody coming. Nobody's coming. Nobody's coming but you. You are your savior. You have a faculty that literally is Jesus, Haru, Hasaris. But you've deified him. And God has warned you about that. You physicality these beings. They were just here to show you the way. They ain't never asked for this level of praise and worship. No, not one of them has asked you to praise them or worship them. While God speaks to you quietly, you ignore him, but you read your Bible. What the fuck? You want to go to church and physically sit somewhere, but you don't want to internally sit in your own self? Get in your own goddamn closet. Oh, baby, keep running. Keep running. You're running from yourself. You're your own boogeyman. You're your own worst nightmare. So as you can see, your nightmares are coming alive because you want to dress yourself. Why are you so afraid? We belong here just as much as the birds, the trees, the ants, the bees. They ain't got no problem. They ain't trying to figure out who they are and what they doing. I've been quiet long enough. I've been quiet long enough. I've been peaceful long enough. I've given grace. Try to keep my mouth closed. I've tried to write to you, to warn you. But you won't listen. So I will bring you my voice. And I'm not very nice, as you can see. I will bring the reckoning. Now, you will either hear what I say, or you will vibrationally, you will either hear my words or you will vibrationally exit yourself from this planet. If you cannot sustain the energetic powers and the frequencies that we are moving into, you will be exited. You will exit yourself from the planet. Fear will exit you from the planet. Fear is connected to death. If you don't know your orientation, if you don't want to have the coronavirus, if you don't want to be subject to all these diseases and all this, they spraying shit in the air, know your orientation. If you are not set to divine love is your protection. Remembering that you are God is your protection. Remembering that you are a co-creator in this experience is your protection. Jesus walked into the lepers and the lepers were better. That's Haru. We are in a leader's son. That's you. You can walk into the hospital and that whole hospital be better. Everybody in there laughing and clapping. Now, when you leave, that's their business. But you can change where you are based on, you can change the environment you walk into based on how you orientate yourself. When I walk into a space, I can feel the whole energy. I'm going to give you an example. I facilitated a class for 2 years while I worked a corporate job. I went to a retail job and I could no longer facilitate this class. The moment that I removed my energy from the class, all of a sudden, fights, chaos, disagreements ensued. I tell you this story to let you know one person makes a difference. One person can make a difference. Will you accept who you are? Will you embrace your humanness and your superhuman powers? Will you know that your thoughts, you do have a reckoning day? That's judgment day, baby. Will you manage your emotional power? Or will you begin to still charge fear? Or will you charge up love? And I leave you today asking you to please, 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 please close your eyes and know. Peace and love to the entire human family. Those of us who will be here as after the transition, after the fall. Those of us who will be here to resurrect. I acknowledge you. We have work to do. Stay focused.